A good view of the Soyuz MS-23 spacecraft docked to the Prishal module, which is the node module, a multi-hatched docking port for multiple vehicles at the Russian segment of the station. And now we're back inside Prishal at the hatchway to the Soyuz, as the crew is beginning to gather for final farewells before the Soyuz crew floats through the hatch and closes the hatch behind them to begin their pre-undocking preparations. And a view of Frank Rubio, soon to depart the International Space Station. Rubio, Prokopiev, and Petelin originally were scheduled to spend just 6 months on the station, but a coolant leak developed in their original Soyuz that brought them to the station, the Soyuz MS-22, back on December 14th last year, and a replacement Soyuz was launched unpiloted and automatically docked to the station. That's the Soyuz MS-23 that they'll be returning home in a short time from now. Once this farewell opportunity is concluded, Rubio, Prokopiev, and Petelin will float inside the Soyuz, and Kononenko will begin the process of closing the hatch on the Prishal module side of the docking interface. The Soyuz hatch will be closed, and the Soyuz crew, the departing crew, will begin to don their Sokol launch and entry suits. And with the photo fest now having been completed, final handshakes between the crew members. And we'll be seeing Prokopiev, Petelin, and Rubio enter the Soyuz vehicle momentarily. Sergei Prokopiev entering the Soyuz with his crewmates. They are entering into the upper section of the Soyuz called the orbital module, which is basically designed to provide the crew members a bit of space before they move into the center section, which is the descent module of the spacecraft. The station hatch will be closed first, followed by the Soyuz hatch, and that will initiate the start of leak checks over the course of an orbit or so, to make sure that we have an airtight seal between the two docking interfaces before the depressurization of the passageway is conducted. Undocking scheduled at 2:54 and 30 seconds a.m. Central Time, 3:54 and 30 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. There will be an undocking command to begin the process of opening the hooks holding the Soyuz to the Prishal module docking port. That takes about 90 seconds to complete before the springs push off on both sides of the docking interface to initiate the physical separation of the vehicle. At the time of undocking, Expedition 69 will come to an end. Expedition 70 formally begins. And there goes the hatch on the Prishal module side of the docking interface.
S4 and S6 are no longer illuminated. Copy.
And the hatch closed on the Prishal module at 11:38 p.m. Central Time, 12:38 a.m. Eastern Time. Frank Rubio, Sergei Prokopiev, and Dmitry Petelin are now inside their return craft, the Soyuz MS-23. The hatch on the station side, the Prishal module hatch, has been closed. The three departing crew members will be closing the Soyuz hatch momentarily, having bid farewell to their crewmates and to their home that they have lived in for over a year, returning home this morning after 371 days in space, the third longest spaceflight in human spaceflight history. a good view of the three-sectioned Soyuz spacecraft. At the very top of your screen is the instrumentation and propulsion module with the solar arrays deployed. The center section is where the crew is strapped into their seats. That's the descent module, the only component that survives the heat of re-entry to bring the crew home. And at the very top of the Soyuz, mated still for another couple of minutes to the Prashal module, that's the orbital module. Once physical separation occurs, the thrusters on the Soyuz will fire in two separate separation burns to open a separation rate from the International Space Station to an ultimate distance of about 90 miles from the station for the deorbit burn later this morning. Undocking confirmed. Physical separation confirmed at 2:54 a.m. Central Time, 3:54 a.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station flew over southeastern Mongolia. Frank Rubio, Sergei Prokopyev, and Dmitry Petelin have departed the complex that has been their home for over a year.
Unintelligible.
Next up, in about 2.5 minutes, the first separation burn to increase the opening rate between the Soyuz and the station. That'll be an 8-second burn of the Soyuz engines with an opening rate of about 0.53 meters per second.
Inaudible. Yes, we send the command, but inaudible, both from the control panel. And the indicator is no longer illuminated.
A very smooth, clean separation by the Soyuz MS-23, a great view as it flies over Mongolia. On board, Frank Rubio, Sergei Prokopyev, and Dmitry Petelin, wrapping up 371 days in space and the third longest space flight in human history.
Firing in manual mode.
At this point, the crew will have a bit of free time as they prepare for the deorbit burn and their ultimate descent back into the Earth's atmosphere.
So how is it going? Well, it's not the first time. Well, it's going even better.